Okay, it is 2 minutes before 4. I'm just going to wait right up until 4. If there's anybody there, please send me a note on the side. Okay, I can see there's 2 people. It's a good sign. Okay, Alzan's here. Hi, Alzan. I'm just waiting until it is actually 4 o'clock, and then we will. Okay, I can see there's 3 people. Hi there. Just waiting till it's 4 o'clock on the dot, and then we shall start. Okay, 4 o'clock. Hi guys, as you know, the IEB Matric Results was released this morning. It's already in the newspapers. You can already find your results online. I thought we'd just talk through some of the questions that's coming up in my student groups, and maybe just share some of the information you might not have. Honestly, it's still a key question. How do I check my results? How do I find them online? I think in the description of the video, I've given the steps. I'm gonna just copy and paste them into the notes. Okay, there they are. So you go to that IEB-online website. You need your exam number and your birthday to log in. You submit, you get your results. Obviously, also you can get your results at your school or at your exam center where you wrote. Yeah, so that was the first big question. The next is about, how did the whole 2020 IEB Matric class fare? Well, their pass rate is 98.07%, which is great, brilliant. Last year the pass rate was 98.82, so it's marginally weaker than last year. But the usual great result from the IEB, there's about 10,000, 14,000 students. Well, okay, it's in front of me. 12,000 full-time students, 1,100 part-time candidates. That's how many wrote at 233 exam centers in 261 different venues. Yeah, I mean, I can share some. I've got a page here. I'll just share it in the notes as well for people really interested. There's the page I'm looking at. Yeah, if you look over the past decade, the IEB results are 98% every year, and then it's comma something, the difference only in that comma. So great results. I've explained how to get your results if you haven't got it yet. The other big question coming up now, of course, is if you're not happy with your results, what can you do? There is a supplementary exam. So I think the things to talk about is what do you need to qualify for that supplementary exam. I'm just going to give you in my notes as well the page I'm looking at. Yeah, so you're eligible for the supplementary exam in one of these 3 cases. If you've missed one or more exam paper legitimately as a result of illness or trauma, and obviously you will need evidence, a doctor's letter explaining why you missed that exam. But if you missed an exam because of illness, certainly you are eligible to go and write the supplementary exam. Secondly, if you require a maximum of 2 subjects to obtain your National Senior Certificate, or to achieve a higher category of achievement, or to achieve results as required for entry to further study. That's quite an interesting one for me. So if you failed and by improving your marks in 2 of your subjects, you can move to a pass. Then you're allowed to write the supplementary exam to see if you can't move yourself from a fail to a pass. If you got a certificate pass, and by improving the results of 2 subjects, you could possibly get a diploma pass, or if you got a diploma pass and by improving your results on 2 of your subjects, you could possibly move up to a bachelor's pass, then you're also eligible for the supplementary exam. And the last element of that is, as required for entry to further study. So you've applied to a college or to a university, they expect you to have a certain mark, you have less than that mark, but potentially if you improve your results on 2 of your subjects, you can lift yourself up to what they require, then also you're eligible for the supplementary exam. Of course, you will need to provide proof that what the requirement is, what the entry requirement is where you've applied, to show that you've just missed it, and that the supplementary exam might push up your marks enough to actually get that entry into higher education. So, real useful. If supplementary exams are important to you, I just want to scan here. Okay, cool. So the question is, when? Deadline to register online to write supplementary exams is 28 February. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing what I'm looking at here. It looks to me like it's 28 February. So it's the 19th of February today. You've got a week. If you want to go for supplementary exams, you need to move and apply for them. The supplementary exams are, I think, in May and June. Okay, I'm just looking at some questions I'm getting here. With an IEB Matric, can I do a Matric upgrade with Matric College? Probably not. Probably not. You're probably better off. I'm saying probably not because Matric College offers the National Senior Certificate, kind of the adult Matric, the school one, whereas this is the IEB one. So the IEB sets different exam papers. They set their own exam papers. All of this leads to the same Umulusi certificate. Hold on. Whether you do the IEB Matric or Matric at school or adult Matric, you all get the same Umulusi certificate. In actual fact, you can't see by looking at that certificate where the person did their Matric. There isn't an IEB Matric certificate, it's just Matric certificates. So I think, no, if you need to upgrade, you're better off going back to where you studied and talk to those people, because the exam papers, the preparation for IEB Matric is not the same as for adult Matric or for the what I call the school Matric. Okay, is there a difference between IEB supplementary exams? Yes, exactly. Yes, there is a difference. Because the IEB actually are accredited by Umulusi to draw up their own exam papers. So if I'm preparing for an IEB exam, I'm going to look at past IEB exam papers. If I'm preparing for adult Matric or for a school Matric, I'm going to look at the old school Matric and at the old adult Matric exam papers. It's not same subjects, but not exactly the same exam papers. You're better off sticking with your stream. If in IB, you're better off sticking with your stream. Okay, we've spoken about okay, cool. Yes, this something else I really like to mention. I'm finding my information. Oh, okay, here it is. The IB also releases 2 top achievers lists. There's a top achievers list for students who achieved the top 5% in their class in 6 or more subjects. And then there's the achievers list for people who is in the top 5% of the class, of the whole group, the whole IB exam group. If I say class, I mean that everybody who wrote, not one school, all of them together. So there's quite a number of students and schools and colleges that are on those 2 merit lists. I mean, I'm just I'll actually give you the link. I'm looking at it here. There's a whole list of them if you scroll down that page. Yeah. So I don't want to mention a specific student. I think it's great to see your name up like that. But I do think it's worth looking at the different places, Clifton School, Cornwall Hill College, Crawford College, Crawford College, Crawford College. You can see it's private schools mostly. Curro, Klerksdorp, Curro Private School, Aurora. I'm just scrolling down the list. Helpmekaar College, Heronbridge College, Hilton College, Redham House College, Bedford View, one person on the list, the Redham House College, Constantia, two people on the list. So it's worth looking down there, see if your school is there, see if your name is on the list. Okay, cool. I've got a question here. What happens if I fail? On any matric, my answer tends to be the same. First prize is you go back to school and you redo the year. It might feel very stressful. It might not be nice, to walk in there and everybody goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing back at school?" But first prize is you go back and you do the year again. It is, I promise you, it's much easier to study full-time in a school than any other way. Home studying is not easy. Distance learning is not easy. Online studies when you're at home is not easy. For many reasons. Mostly, I think, if you're in a class, everybody is moving at the same pace. You kind of motivating each other. You're in a study atmosphere. When you're on your own, you're just not. So first prize for me is you go back and you try again. Obviously, you need to think about why you didn't pass. And if you absolutely hate all of that stuff, you'll hear me talk a lot about all the different routes of study available to people who don't have matric. I'm a big fan of the Institute of Certified Bookkeeper programs because they are career orientated, because they overlap with what we know are critical skills. So we know there's more jobs in bookkeeping, in office admin, even in management. And you can enter with a grade 10, you can enter with a grade 11. You don't need a grade 12 to enter those programs, but they will take you up to matric level and they will take you 1-2 years beyond matric level. So that's a real possibility for me. If I think I hate matric, I do want to study, I want to do something that gets me a job. That's kind of what I recommend to people. Okay, I'm looking at another question here. Will an IEB certificate be more likely to get me a job? Or entrance now, because remember, you've done matric with the IEB. You could have done matric at a school. You could have done matric as a person who's older than 21. As an adult learner, you could have done the adult matric. And those three different streams are not exactly the same. But in the end, if you pass, Umalusi gives you a certificate. If you pass any of those streams, that's what you get. And nowhere on here does it say your school name. It doesn't say IEB. It doesn't say adult matric. It doesn't say your age. Yeah, it's all the same thing. So, hey, if you're in an interview, you might tell your prospective employer, I studied my matric with the IEB. They're not going to care if they're going to care whether you have a matric or not, and they might care about the mark you got. What? Okay, cool. I mean, what we could do, we've now kind of the discussion. We started off on the tougher side of it. What if I don't do that well? And I want to say one more thing about that, and then move on to, well, I've passed. Now what? And what I do feel one needs to say every time you talk about, you've done your exam and you didn't do as well as you wanted, or you even failed. You're going to hear me say every single time, matric is not that important. Matric is not that important. It feels like the end of your life, but it's not. It's the end of 12 years of schooling. It's the beginning of your life. It's literally the beginning of your life. There are so many alternative things you can study. Plus, you're getting many opportunities. You're not happy with the results. You can improve 2 subjects now in May, June. You can improve 2 of your subjects. You're still not happy with the results. You'll be able to improve your subjects in November again. If none of that works for you, you can study something else. There's many accredited qualifications you can study without Matric. So please, it's not that important. If it didn't go as planned, that's not nice. Make a new plan, work the new plan. There are many options, there are many possibilities. Okay, do you think that the government school results will also show only a small pass rate change? I I don't know, predicting pass rates. I walk out on the thin ice here to predict pass rates. It's impossible to predict. My common sense tells me that we've lost so many study days last year for these matrics. It must have had an impact. What I know about studying from home is to be able to study from home. A lot of the things you need is electricity, a smartphone, data, and I've seen the stat that shows actually how few people or how few matriculants has access to all the tools you need to be able to study online from home. Government brought in a lot of help. Teachers put in extra effort. There was even matric classes on TV, on radio. So yes, there was a lot of extra help, but it was still a very difficult year. I certainly expect the results to go down a little bit. I was worried that Umulusi might adjust the marks upwards to kind of make up for the COVID, but they didn't. There was quite a small number of adjustments by Umulusi. So yeah, I do expect them to drop back a little bit. Yes, cool. So what can I study with my matric certificate if I don't go to university? That's kind of my background and my knowledge is to answer that. If you don't go to university, for me, you are studying, even if you go to university, you're studying to get a job. Very few people are so privileged that they don't have to worry about what job can I get with my qualification. I was always a fan of the technicons when they turned the technicons into universities. Those technicon programs, the old N1 to N6, or if you N1 to N3 is up to matric level, and then N4 to N6 is beyond matric. They're accredited, they're known. You write an exam with the Department of Education. You end up one level lower than a degree academically, and you do, maybe 3 years of study, but you can probably do it faster, and you need 18 months of practical work at the end of those programs, the alternated programs. Obviously, if you ask me what to study, I'm not going to do a degree. How do I study? What do I study? I'm going pick a native program, because there's a wide range of choices, because you can study for 6 months and work for 6 months, because after every step, if you've passed in 4 level, you get your N4 certificate. Then if you pass in 5 level, you get your N5 certificate. If you pass in 6 level, you get your N6 certificate. If you have evidence that you've done 18 months of practical work, you submit that to your college, they submit that to Department of Education, and you get your national diploma. Work-related studies with work-related practical experience built in, and you end up with a national diploma. As somebody who employs people, a person with a national diploma in accounting is more employable than a person with a BCom degree. Because one person has some knowledge about what happens in the workplace, and the other one has just got lots of theoretical knowledge. How long does it take? Well, the native programs, if you want to do them as fast as possible, you can do 4 subjects in 6 months. So you can do kind of year 1, you do 4 subjects in the first 6 months, then those 4 subjects gives you the first level in 4, another 4 subjects, another 6 months, now you've got in 5, another 4 subjects, another 6 months, you've got in 6. So you can do the theory in 18 months. You also need 18 months worth of practical to get the final diploma. But within 18 months, you can have your 3 level certificates. Cool. I'm trying to see, okay, cool, if I can, I'm just scrolling here. We've talked about the achievement lists, the commendable achievement lists. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other specific questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna log off. I'm sorry it went a little bit skew with our attempt at 3, but I guess this is us having a bit of a test run for Monday. The Minister of Education is announcing the rest of the matric results Monday afternoon at 4, I think. And then Tuesday, you'll be able to get your results at school if you're now a school or an adult matric student. The IEB guys obviously got their qualifications. Okay, well, I'm taking a last. Where can I study NITED? A number of colleges. A number of colleges. Yes, I work in Matric College. I'm going to say Matric College. We're associated with the Bellevue Institute of Distance Learning. So we, if you come to us, you need to do the NITED program. We kind of link you to them. Skills Academy, I know, has the NITED programs. Oxbridge Academy has the NITED programs. A lot of your government colleges still offer the NITED programs. It's still the highest number of students on non-degree accredited qualifications at the post-school qualifications or NITED programs. So it's the route I recommend. Cool. I'm gonna call it a day there. Friday afternoon. Thank goodness it's weekend, and I'll see you guys probably on Tuesday. Cheers.